Bilimoria is with me, the Vice Chair of the Confederation of British Industry, founder of Cobra Beer. Good to have you, Your Lordship, thank you.
Very good to see you.
You know, when we've spoken in the past, over the last few months and years, it's been a down message. And there's clearly going to be a recession if we're not already. So as in terms of hospitality and beer, are you optimistic?
You just look back to exactly a year ago. We were looking forward to coming out of the pandemic, and suddenly this Omicron variant was discovered, and we had a diktat here in the UK, an advice to work from home. The whole of Christmas was destroyed. For the hospitality industry, December is disproportionately the most important month in the whole calendar. So compared with a year ago, we're in so much better position that we have no restrictions. Look at this in Trafalgar Square, the festive spirit that we have over here. So we're in a much better position than a year ago. So we've got to be optimistic in that sense. The but is this: we have stagflation. We have inflation that is so high, the highest in living memory of 11%. Input costs, my own business, Cobra Beer, 25%. You can't pass that on to consumers. And then on the other hand, you've got wages wanting to go up and up. And we're in danger of a wage spiral inflation. So stagflation in a recession, high inflation, is hugely challenging.
You and I are both old enough to remember stagflation in different eras, maybe, well, sort of.
Well, it's one thing, the challenge of dealing with inflation. It's another thing, challenge of dealing with a recession, but to deal with both of them together is a nightmare. And what is really driving all this is the wretched war in Ukraine. I spoke in the House of Lords yesterday in a debate on Ukraine. If only that war would stop, I tell you, the whole picture would change. The good news is, compared with where Britain was in September, when we had that mini budget, when the pound nearly went down to parity with the dollar, today the pound is over 1.2.
Now, let me ask you, what do you now make of that fiasco, that fiscal fiasco?
Well, the pound, of course, the dollar is now 1.2 versus the pound. It was almost parity then. What happened was irrational exuberance. Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng, Prime Minister and Chancellor, wanted growth, wanted to encourage investment, wanted to put down taxes. That's all good news. Business was rejoicing, but they went about it the wrong way. It's not just what you do, but how you do it. And it was done in completely the wrong way, not getting the Office of Budget Responsibility to back up their plans. They just did the wrong thing at the wrong time, and it really caused a huge problem.
But the fact that that could happen in an extremely mature governmental system. They didn't ask the Bank of England, they didn't ask the OBR, they didn't even ask the Cabinet. Isn't this almost malfeasance?
Well, if you think about it, at that time, sadly, Her Majesty the Queen passed away on the 8th of September. From the 8th of September until her funeral on the 19th of September, the whole world was looking up to this great country because of that great woman, that great lady, 7 decades of service, the most respected, the most famous monarch in the world. We were right up there, and then we came crashing down, and from that mini budget until the 24th of October when Rishi Sunak became Prime Minister, we became almost a laughing stock in the world, saying, what is this great country doing to itself? Now we're back on track. There's stability. We've had an autumn statement. We've had a budget that has brought in the stability, signified by the dollar pound at the moment. I think we're in a much better position. But
there will be a recession.
There is. We're almost definitely in a recession now. There's no question about that. On the other hand, I see optimism. The grain is flowing from Ukraine. The port of Odessa was blocked. But thanks to Turkey and the United Nations, that grain is flowing. There were 47 million people in threat of starvation around the world if the ships hadn't started to go. They're going. So that gives me a little bit of hope that if Russia agreed to that, then we can have peace. And Prime Minister Modi, India's taken over the G20 now. He has made a huge statement yesterday in the official taking of G20 that he wants peace.
What do you want as a business leader? I'm thinking of the CBI and all the business organizations. What do you need now? You've got stability back again, but many of your workers will have seen their mortgages double.
Yes. So what you've got now is people, every consumer has seen food prices go up by 14%, inflation by 11%, mortgages going up, interest rates have gone up to 3%. So workers are being squeezed, businesses are being squeezed. What we're saying at the CBI is allow businesses, there's a labor shortage in this country. We have job vacancies of 1.3 million. We need to be allowed to bring in workers from abroad for the sectors of the economy that need the workforce. That's
a
the deal.
guest worker arrangement, or I mean, doing a deal with the EU? What would you do?
Well, a deal with the EU definitely needs to be done, but that can't be done until we resolve the Northern Ireland Protocol. So we're saying to the
That's
government,
not going to be resolved anytime soon.
It should be resolved. It can be resolved if there's pragmatism and businesses want it resolved. Let's resolve the Northern Ireland Protocol. Let's have a much better deal with the EU than we have at the moment, including movement of people. And let's allow businesses to bring in the workforce from around the world that we need on a sector-by-sector basis for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year visas. That's what's needed. I mean, students, look at this. We now have over 600,000 international students in this country. We're one of the best countries in the world where universities are concerned, and that's something to be celebrated.
I'll happily celebrate with you, sir, any day. We need to come and do Crosby's Business from the House of Lords at some point, or somewhere similar. I'm sure you'll find us somewhere, a home to come and do it. Thank you very much for joining us. Now,